Hello and welcome to Double Play Sports. I'm James alongside Pat. We are here with a very special interview with former MLB player Brian Hunter. Brian, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
Good, good. So first question I have for you is, as a child and a teen, you were playing baseball at a competitive level. Who were some of the role models that inspired you?
Some of my role models. I think the first person would be I had an uncle who was very involved in everything that I did. I was a single parent, so my uncle was always around, coming to my football games, my baseball games. So I could say my uncle Ken.
So when did you kind of realize that this is what you're going to do? You're going to be an MLB player. This is the path you're going to take.
I really didn't realize it because I mean I was more of a football guy growing up, but baseball was always the easiest sport for me to play. So I watched baseball, watched football. I thought I was going to be in the NFL first, and then I could say I think it really clicked for me after my freshman year in college. I played on a Connie Mack team that won the Connie Mack World Series in '86.
So you were drafted by the Braves in the eighth round of the 1987 draft out of college.
Yes.
So, you know, compared to a lot of players who have an easier path to the majors as like the first and second rounders, an eighth round pick sometimes is a bit of a long shot to make it. What difficulties did you face really working hard to make it to the majors?
Um, obviously being an eighth rounder, most eighth rounders don't make it. Also came out of junior college too. Um, I think when I saw the first rounders and where their level of competition was, I thought I was above those guys mentally. And mentally, I threw out what round I got drafted in, and I was like, let's play. Let's see who's the best person. Who cares if you're a first rounder or eighth rounder? We're playing right now on the field.
So you, right when you got to the majors, you came in like a storm. You finished fourth in Rookie of the Year. When did you kind of feel like you had made it and you were here to stick?
Um, we were a really young team. I think maybe after the World Series, I had a pretty decent World Series, a playoff, NLCS. I hit a home run in Game 7. Going into that next spring training, my first full spring training, knowing I'm on the team. But then again, it was the Braves, so you never would know. Bobby Cox had us at not at ease, but just like, hey, it's easy to get sent down. It's hard to stay up.
So what was it like, of course, playing with a great Braves team like that? What type of presence did they have in the clubhouse? What was that like learning from them?
Well, I'll go back to a couple people. Chipper wasn't there yet in '91 and '92. Maddox wasn't there yet either. So we had, Dave Justice, Ronnie Gant, Glavine, Smoltz, Avery. We pretty much all came up through the minor leagues together. I was like a year behind them. Me and Avery played together. Glavine was a little older. Smoltz was older. But I got to see those guys play in the instructional league, playing right next to them. So, we were really tight as a young team. I was 23, Dave was 24, Glavine, I think Smoltz were 25, and then we had, Terry Pendleton and Sid Bream and Charlie Lebrand were our older guys that, helped us out when we needed help.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so in mid 1993, you were traded to Pittsburgh. What's kind of like the experience of being traded for the first time?
Um, for me, I was looking for the opportunity to try to play every day. My first 2 years in the big leagues, I had a platoon. And then getting traded for me was I wanted to see if I could play every day. Those first 2 years, people put my numbers together, and it equivalated to one full season. So everybody was like, okay, you can probably do this. And some people didn't know. But, when I got traded to Pittsburgh, I was coming from a first place Braves team. They got rid of Bonds and Bonilla, and it was pretty much a last place Pittsburgh team when I got there.
So throughout your career and even growing up, was there a player that you almost tried to mirror, a player that you tried to almost act like they were the guy and to make it to the major leagues?
You know what? I had so many idols like that to look up to. I used to want to be like Jim Rice. I used to want to be like Willie Stargell. When I batted left-handed playing wiffle ball, I wanted to be Rod Carew. You know, but I stuck on, when I got to the minor leagues, I stuck on Kirby Puckett. You know, we had the same body type. Kirby played outfield, I played first base, but I was a Kirby Puckett guy. You know, I really liked how he was a bad ball hitter. You know, he was a first pitch hitter. You know, so I really was stuck on Kirby Puckett. And then we got to play Minnesota, you know, my rookie year in '91, and I got a bat signed by him.
Throughout your career, who was like the toughest pitcher for you to face? Like you got up there, you saw that guy on the mound, and you were like, "Oh boy, I got to face this guy again."
Shoot, I got quite a few. The first time I faced Mitch Williams, I was really scared. You know, it was the nickname, the Wild Thing, and you know he bounced one up there that almost hit me, so he intimidated me a little bit. You know, Rob Dibble with the Nasty Boys. You know, he threw 100 miles an hour back then. You know, a really tough one for me was, you know, I'm going back with old names. A guy named Bobby Ojeda. You know, he didn't throw that hard, but you know he hit the ball really well. So I think, I can't forget, the toughest guy for me was Dennis Martinez. Dennis Martinez, I didn't get to play against right-handers that much, and for some reason, every time he pitched, I played against him. You know, so he had about 3 different curveballs and breaking balls. I wasn't a good breaking ball hitter, but it took me a few at-bats to really get adjusted to what he was doing to me.
Yeah, of course, those are some really, really tough pitchers. So this is a little bit more of a broad question, but what do you think was like the coolest moment of your MLB career?
Probably the coolest moment was, you know, number one, getting called up. You know, you can't get beat, you know, getting called up. I was in Richmond, Virginia. You know, I got the phone call like about, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was getting called up. You know, I had to, you know, go to the stadium and pack my stuff, and I had a flight out to San Francisco at 6 in the morning. So that was really cool. And then hitting a home run in Game 7, you know, in the NLCS. You know, I hit a home run in the first inning in Game 7, and then also hitting a home run in the World Series. You know, those are 2 things I've always wanted to do in my life, and I was able to accomplish them.
So bouncing off a little bit what you're saying about those home runs that you hit, like, what's the feeling when you get up to the plate in like the NLCS or the World Series and like maybe you're a little nervous and then you connect and you just see the ball fly? How is that feeling?
You know, it's first of all, being in Game 7 is crazy. You know, and you know, that year, the '91 year, we were in last place, and then by the midway, by the All-Star break, we were 10 games out, and we won 9 out of 10, and the Dodgers lost 9 out of 10. So for the rest of the second half of the season, it was like playoffs for us. So I can't say I wasn't nervous in Game 7, but every game to us for the second half of the season was like a Game 7. We had to win. So I got used to, you know, being able to play in games like that. And, you know, throughout my career growing up, for some reason, I've always been on teams that won. And, you know, I've won a lot of championships growing up. So I never panicked in those type of situations.
What would you say was the coach that had the most impact on you and how you developed as a player?
I had some really great coaches. I think my coach in junior college, George Horton, he was one of the best coaches in California. He went on to coach at Cal State Fullerton. They won a championship. He was the first coach at the University of Oregon. They built a program for him. He taught me so much, you know, how to play baseball when I was at junior college for 2 years. You know, and I'm a little different. I'm what you call a backwards player. It's not too many backwards players that played in the big leagues that bat right-handed and throw left. The most well-known one is Ricky Henderson. So, I had to learn how to do a lot of things on my own, just to fix my body, because a lot of people couldn't tell me because they never did it before.
Now, after your career, after your playing days were over, like, what are you doing nowadays?
Soon as I finished playing, I went into scouting. I scouted for 10 years. I got a big leaguer. I think he's still pitching, Marco Estrada. I signed him out of Long Beach State. He's still pitching now, I think. And then I have two sons. I have a 24-year-old son and an 18-year-old son. Both of those guys play football. My youngest son dabbles a little bit in baseball. So, once I stopped scouting, I was like on the scene to try to get my oldest son into college. He ended up going to Occidental, a D3 school in California. And my youngest son, my youngest son is a junior in high school right now, and he's on one of the top football teams in the country. He goes to Mater Dei High School in California and plays football there.
Thank you so much, Brian. This was such a big help, and it was great to meet you. And thanks everyone else for watching.
Thank you, guys.